Hello everyone, welcome back to Discovering Dawson's Creek on It's a Wonderful Podcast. Oh, we've got a little bit of a two-parter today, isn't it? It's not strictly a two-parter, but the titles would suggest that this is a bit of a Dawson Pacey two-parter, which is very interesting, given that, well, this is definitely the most genial we've seen Dawson and Pacey for several years. It seems at this point. But a lot of interesting little nuancy things going on, I feel, in these couple of episodes, furthering obviously of the Dawson Gretchen situation. Let's make another bit of tension for Pacey and Joey for no reason, and then it'll all be okay by the end. They're just doing the same thing, aren't they? Any Pacey and Joey storyline at the moment is just major issue for the one episode.
For their future. Yes, their future's looking bleak.
Everything's a disaster. Oh no, wait, it's not. Oh no, wait, it's fine. I don't know how long I can keep going with that kind of tragedy. Oh no, it's okay. Kind of structure.
Well, considering I know where it's going, I don't want to say too much, but
Oh, so it probably, I mean, obviously it's going to end in some sort of tragedy, isn't it? I mean, this couldn't go in any other way. Really. I would like to, I'm not being tricked by Dawson's Creek anymore, Jeannine. I don't subscribe to the
you're picking up
idealism of certain situations. I am fully expecting everything to come to everything that's good to come to an end, but then something else happen, like these shows kind of.
You've learned how to read between the lines of Dawson's
a little bit. Yes. I would I would just like to believe that when Pacey and Joey come to an end as a relationship, it isn't ridiculously catastrophic, and it isn't anybody doing anything horrible or something like that. It is just the culmination of all these
little
constant issues coming on, and it just being like, this is actually finally now just too much. When that will happen, obviously, I don't know. But it'll be interesting when it does. But I think there's other romances at the moment to focus on, isn't there? There's other relationships at the moment to focus on, which is a weird thing to say, given how much we've been focusing on Pacey and Joey for, well, what feels like a whole season and a bit. There's other interesting things going on, and truly, I don't think Dawson Leary has ever been quite as understandable as a character as he's been at the moment.
We give Dawson his accolades when he deserves it, and he's grown up a lot. And I like when he references like moments where he did kind of act like an ass. Because I think he brings up like the last time I tried to, like, I was immature. I was trying to win a boat race. So I love kind of the acknowledgement of things that he did wrong. I think we're kind of really loving the maturity we're seeing. We give him his props when he has earned them. And yes, like you talk about like feeling weird, kind of focusing on a different relationship, because the crux of kind of this season has been the Pacey Joey of it all. I mean, the tagline of the season is "Her choice changed everything." Is literally the season 4 tagline. So it's nice to kind of take a break from that, and particularly since the show is kind of doing this, like, set up this trouble in potential Joey Pacey future because of the academic reasons in like every episode in different kind of veins. So it's nice to kind of take a breather from that and kind of focus on a different kind of romantic happenings. So
it is, well, I mean, 2 different romantic happenings, really.
I mean,
3 if you count one I really don't want to see happen. Because I just think that particular character is so deeply annoying. I really, 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 really don't want to see
Yeah,
that
yes.
in any thought. I thought we were done away with him, but we'll get to that when we get.
Yeah, it's still looming there. Yes. Yeah.
Get the binder out, Jeannine. Let us start off with season 4, episode 11, the TAO of Dawson. That's TAO.
Yes.
That's a Chinese word, that one.
Yes, the TAO of Dawson, because the next one's going to be about Pacey. Aired January 10th, 2001. Pacey and Dawson finally start hanging out together again when Dawson tells him that he has feelings for his sister Gretchen. Pacey doesn't like the idea, so when he and Gretchen go on a road trip to her ex-boyfriend's house to pick up her truck, Pacey tries to get them back together. However, after being there for a while, Pacey realizes that the guy he's trying to get back together with Gretchen is not who he thought he was. Back in Capeside, Joey has her fair share of problems when she gets locked in a storage closet at the yacht club with none other than loathsome sociopath Drew Valentine, which is later revealed that he set the thing up to avoid going to New York to visit his estranged father. Meanwhile, Dawson observes the feelings growing between Mr. Brooks and Grams and fears that Grams will get hurt when she finds out that Mr. Brooks, like her husband, is terminally ill.
Good synopsis there this week.
Yeah,
that was
better than our one single sentence or whatever we got last week. So whoever wrote these just kind of all over the place.
Yeah, that was better. Fair play to that one. It really is a bad idea, though, isn't it? From Dawson, fundamentally. Let's be okay with Pacey again. Let's hang out. Let's go on fishing.
Yeah, we open with them fishing together, which is nice to see. But
it's nice to see, but then we obviously got this from the last episode of Discovering Dawson's Creek in the 2 episodes we talked about. Obviously, everybody saw Dawson and Gretchen kiss, and it was Christmas.
Yeah.
But now he's sat there going, so we'll be friends again, Pacey. Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll be friends again. I'm gonna go out with your sister though.
I like her. Yeah.
Just immediately,
like
we're okay for 1 second, and then I'm actually gonna go out with your sister now, just to throw everything up there again. We can't have 2 weeks of just sanity in this place. It's a ridiculous.
It's gotta be crazy. So, question. When Pacey and Dawson are doing this fishing situation, and Dawson says to him, I'm coming to you to talk to you about Gretchen, as like a courtesy. Had you and Joey done the same, that would have made things 10 times easier. Do you believe him?
No, not in the slightest. Absolutely not. What he's trying to do here is be all nice, and I mean, he's playing his "I'm going to be the bigger man" card, because this is his whole thing now. This is his whole deal now. He's always been self-righteous and annoying, but he's really trying to be that way now. And yes, okay, there's elements of what he's doing at the moment that we actually don't hate.
Yeah.
But 100%, I do not believe that at all. He was in full crybaby, immature, whine Dawson mode in a season ago. So if they'd have all been like, I'm
starting to have these feelings for Joey.
Yes, maybe something's happening here. He would have gone, ah, and started screaming and crying and running around and doing something different to what he did do, which was just cut everybody off and do the ridiculous Dawson cry on his own.
Yeah.
But he would have really started to panic. He would not have taken it well. So I don't know how he expects Pacey to take this well now. It's a ridiculous thing that they have, 1 second of let's be friends again before something else has to happen.
Yeah, and Dawson kind of playing it like, I'm better than you because I'm letting you know that I like your sister. When you didn't let me know when you liked Joey. Yeah.
That's exactly what he's doing. And he speaks for Gretchen in that moment as well.
Yeah,
she likes me too.
Yeah, even though she hasn't said it or she won't admit it to herself, I think she likes me too. Yeah.
Which that's not drastically immature at all, I
No.
suppose, is it, Dawson? Especially given that, you know, you're 17 and she's 21.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
at that particular point, as I think we talked about in the last episode of Discovering Dawson's Creek, an age gap in a relationship at that age is very significant. And it's not the same as a 32-year-old and a 28-year-old. It's not the same.
Yeah, that's a little weird, a little bit.
A 17-year-old and a 21-year-old feels like light years away from each other.
Yeah.
So you cannot, as a 17-year-old, speak for your 21-year-old potential girlfriend and say she actually really likes me, because that just makes you sound like a lovesick puppy.
Yeah, a little bit, Dawson. But what I really loved about this episode was the Pacey Gretchen dynamic. Because I mean, we've seen Pacey as a boyfriend, we've seen Pacey as a friend, we've seen him as a brother to Doug. But I love getting to see his dynamic with Gretchen and him kind of them having this banter, him kind of thinking he knows what's best for her, and then him getting kind of this real moment with her to realize, no, I was wrong about this, and kind of have this protective brother instinct kick in. Because we've seen this protective instinct for his friends. We've seen this protective instinct for, because we saw him kind of get protective over Joey before they were even a thing, kind of like at a party, a situation where Joey, I think, got a little too drunk. We've seen him have that protective instinct for Andy when they were, in their coupling. So to see him have this protective instinct for his sister was a really kind of great dynamic to see. So yes, as I mentioned in the synopsis, they go on this road trip because she's going to get her truck back from her ex, and this is after Pacey has just had Dawson profess his feelings for her. So he's like, I don't like this with Dawson, so I'm going to shove you back into the relationship with your ex. Not really having any.
He does it all in at least a bit of a fun way, rather than oh my God, the world is ending kind of way. He's just saying, oh, what about,
maybe what about this guy? I remember meeting him and he was cool and we had so much in common. And she's like, yeah, he's just like you. Like, yeah.
Exactly.
That's why you like him.
It's so great. Never mind, let's not talk about somebody else, but look at this guy. He's great.
You should go back to him.
You were really vibing with him. He's great.
Yes. And then when he does learn, ultimately it comes out that, the whole miscarriage that we we learned about Gretchen, and that's kind of the reason she left school was with him. And we see him as kind of this womanizing kind of guy. But then, he's able to kind of hit this sweet spot with Gretchen in a way. So that's kind of why things kind of fell apart with her and him. And she finally reveals that to Pacey. And then I kind of like the pace. I love the conversation that comes out of this because she admits to him that the only person I've told is Dawson. So then there's this kind of jealousy, like, the jealousy that I think Pacey feels when like Joey kind of goes to Dawson with something before him, or something like with the recent episode with the essay thing. But then she like is really straight with him in terms of, you have this very specific image of me. And so I didn't feel like I could come to you with that. But,
it's definitely more reasonable for me.
But Dawson is this neutral ground, so it was easier to kind of talk to him, and it was also kind of connected to something he was personally going through, so that I could use that kind of story to give him some perspective on all the kind of stuff he was going through with his mom and her pregnancy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like that she frames it in a way that it wasn't like I couldn't trust you to tell you and I trusted Dawson more. It was just that you're my brother. You have this completely idealized or specific image of me, and I didn't want to kind of mess that up, and I didn't know if you could understand seeing me in a different light. So I love that framing. Like, as somebody who is a younger sibling, like, I really liked that perspective.
Yeah.
So I loved her framing that way, and I love the conversation that comes out of that, and him kind of not getting defensive or crazy or feeling some kind of hurt. He immediately understands. He's like, yeah, you're right. Like, I don't know that I could have maybe understood because I do have this image of you. But that guy's an asshole, and I'm sorry that,
Yeah.
you felt like you couldn't tell him that you had this miscarriage with him because he was so kind of caught up in his, like, flirting and womanizing with other people. He's a dick, and I'm sorry that I saw these great things in him. And then she, like, even kind of gives him some grace there, and she tells him, "No, you're not wrong for feeling that way about him. All of the things you liked about him, I like about him too. So
Yeah.
you're not wrong for feeling that way about him because he is this charismatic guy who can, like, lull you into this kind of sense of, like, attention and feeling special and all of that because of who he is. So I don't fault you for liking him because all the things you like about him, I liked about him too, and I kind of get lulled in by it despite all of the other bullshit he does." So I love this conversation that she gives him this grace, that she gives him kind of this perspective that he didn't have before. So I love getting to see younger brother Pacey to a sister and that dynamic. I love because, like, that's what I talk about that all the time. Like, I love getting kind of the Dawson and his mom's and story and Gail. I love kind of those little moments,
Yeah.
and Dawson and Mitch kind of moments. I love Bessie and Joey moments, and even kind of that little moment she had with Bodie, and those kind of, like, relationships that we really get to explore. I think both of us are really obsessed with the Jen and Graham's dynamic when they
Yeah.
have some really great moments. All the stuff with Jack and his dad and those kind of things.
Well, I
So
didn't
this
like
is
that, but okay.
well, I mean, once it kind of got into a better place and that kind of understanding kind of stuff. I mean, I appreciated that kind of growing of the relationship and understanding that came from there more
Let's
than maybe
call it
more than
quote
you.
unquote understanding.
Yes.
I wasn't still convinced, and obviously
Okay.
we're not
We
getting any
won't
more
get
of
any
that.
more of that. Yes.
Yeah.
Um, so I really loved getting to see this side of Pacey and his relationship with Gretchen with a new character and kind of getting to see him in a different kind of vein. So I loved all of the stuff that came out of this brother sister kind of relationship in this episode for sure. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, absolutely. I have no issue with Gretchen whatsoever. I really like Gretchen
She's
as
the
a
only
character.
kind of new character that's come in that we're really kind of down with because Toby is like, and Drew
Right.
is
Well, new character at the
Toby
moment.
and Drew
So,
are not doing it for us
no,
at all.
not remotely. I mean, new character at the moment. Yes, let's not forget that Andy and Jack were new characters at one point, and
Yeah,
we certainly enjoy both of those
yeah.
characters. Not that Andy's there anymore, obviously, but we've always really liked Jack. I've always really liked Jack as a character. But no, I'm totally with Gretchen. I fully understand Gretchen, but I also kind of I like that she's really taking her time with Dawson to try and understand her own feelings towards Dawson. Obviously, this first episode does end in a pretty good place for the Gretchen Dawson
Yeah.
relationship. A very, oh, something's definitely happening here
Yeah, because she
kind of
gets
place.
this
Sure,
she gets the approval from Pacey essentially, not that she needs it or looking for it, but
essentially, yeah.
and then she gets this perspective of seeing, like, her terrible ex and, like, Dawson being so much
Yeah.
better than him. So all of that perspective builds up to kind of a good coming together of her and Dawson by the end of the episode.
But no, I agree with you in terms of the brother sister stuff. I
Yeah.
really like it. It's strange that in an episode where titled the TAO of Dawson, there's an awful lot of Pacey in
Yeah.
here as well, and there's
Yeah.
certainly an awful lot of Pacey in the
And
next
the day of
episode. It's a
Pacey.
very, very, very Pacey episode.
Yeah.
But no, I like this. I like how he comes to that understanding. It's way more reasonable from Pacey, and
Mhm.
but obviously it was always going to be way more reasonable from Pacey. He's way less of a child in the head than
Yeah.
Dawson is.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it because I weirdly like the Dawson Gretchen dynamic, the
Yeah.
Dawson Gretchen relationship. I think predominantly that comes from Gretchen's side, to be honest,
Yeah. But I
because I'm
mean,
never going to be the biggest fan of Dawson
yes,
himself.
But I am curious to see kind of your thoughts on Gretchen in the next episode, as she is kind of distant and a kind of wishy-washy with Dawson in the next episode. So I'm curious to kind of
I just
you
think,
saying this now in comparison to kind of how she acts in the next episode when it comes to their actual relationship and the budding
there's a
relationship
lot
that
of
they're forming. Yeah.
there's a lot of things playing around in Gretchen's mind. Obviously, this is the thing with the significant feeling age difference at that particular age.
Yeah, which they
A
play on that
21-year-old
heavily. Yeah.
a 21-year-old is going through and goes through a lot more than a 17-year-old does.
Yeah.
And a 70 any generally speaking, that's what happens. Dawson doesn't have remotely any of the same concerns or worries that Gretchen does.
Yeah.
And fundamentally, that is something for Gretchen to think about. Dawson doesn't have to think about it because he's just like, "Ooh, I'm in love," which is fine. You should be like that at that age. I'm not saying be worn down and miserable at that age in your supposed relationship. You're not going to be able to have those kind of beginning of a relationship conversations at the age of 17. But Gretchen can have those beginning of relationship conversations. So there's something not clicked there. They might click in other places, and they certainly do, but there's something just not clicked there. Pause for Gretchen. Time to think.
Yeah.
Get your head together. Do you want to carry on with it? I understand totally, and speaking of the next episode as well, I understand Gretchen's mentality totally, because it never comes from a hurtful place at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's another romance in this episode to talk about if we want to get
into that. So there were some like little glimmerings and hints at a Grams and Mr. Brooks kind of thing happening, but we see it kind of full on.
Grams getting all made up to go out on a date.
Yes, Grams looking really pretty. Yeah, so Dawson has kind of learned through his nurse and kind of spending this time with him making this documentary that Mr. Brooks is terminally ill, that he's dying essentially.
Yes.
And he walks up on Grams and sees her kind of having this flirty like goodbye with Mr. Brooks. And so he's like, oh, kind of what's going on there? But of course, as soon as Mr. Brooks sees him, he's like, you're saying you think you're dead kind of thing. And so he's having these conversations with Jack. And I like that he's like talking to Jack, like, because I don't feel like we see a ton of that interaction or that kind of, Yeah.
I mean, Jack's got to have someone else to talk to. He can't just be Jen
but it's funny because he talks about kind of Pacey and like the perspective of Pacey dating his sister Andy and how that felt. And so Dawson's kind of picking his brain on that. He's sharing with him the feelings of Gretchen, and like they're moving furniture for the baby's room, and Dawson finds a letter that he had wrote to Gretchen because he like used to write her letters when he had this crush on her when they were kids. And so I like that he has Jack
thing to do. Is that
I mean, that's what kind of hooked her at the end of this episode. He shares with her the last letter he wrote to her.
And he does.
So that ultimately hooks her. But I like that he has kind of Jack as the sounding board. So he ultimately then ends up asking Jack about this Grams thing, because Jack also has his kind of very much relationship with Grams from when he lived with Jen and Grams as well. So I like Jack kind of being the sounding board for Dawson. So he's talking to him about this Mr. Brooks thing. And like, he thinks Graham doesn't know that he's dying. So she's getting all dolled up and getting excited to go out with him. And it's like going to be this repeat of everything she went through with her husband. So he's worried for Grams. And I love seeing Dawson being worried for Grams, because these are also characters that we don't kind of equate together. And he's lived next door to Grams for years, and we saw her kind of go to defense against Mr. Brooks when Mr. Brooks was harassing Dawson about his boat, and Grams kind of just not just being Jen's grandma, but kind of being the grandma to the whole crew. So I love this care that Dawson, when we don't really see this dynamic or relationship, have this care for Grams. And I, again, love seeing characters who rarely get to kind of interact. So I loved all these scenes with Dawson and Grams and him going to talk to her and him just kind of stopping and taking a moment and saying, you look really beautiful, because she has her hair down for once. She's all dolled up for this date. and him really just having this concern for her. So
I mean, it makes a difference to what Jen says to Grams, which is all like,
you're thinking about sex,
you're gonna
aren't
have
you?
sex with Mr. Brooks. Are you gonna go
You're
there,
thinking
Grams?
about it. You're thinking
You're
about it.
thinking about it. Yes, you are. I can tell you are, and it's
Yeah.
just really uncomfortable.
Yes. So I love getting to see, because yeah, with these are characters we rarely get to see interact. And you have to imagine, like, she lived next to Dawson for all these years and like not
Yeah.
really. And she had this weird opinion of Dawson and this girl climbing in your window, old
Yeah.
Grams kind of thing. So yeah, I love this plot point because he's come to care about Mr. Brooks. And so, that kind of concern. So I love this kind of mix up of like information. I think Graham doesn't know that Mr. Brooks is dying, but ultimately when he goes to kind of warn her because he's worried about her investing in him just to have a
Yeah.
repeat of what happened with her husband, she's like, I know he's dying. He doesn't know I know. And then he ultimately goes to Mr. Brooks, and Mr. Brooks is like, I know she knows, but she doesn't know that I know she knows, whole kind of mess, kind of thing. And so it's a
Which
lesson.
ultimately is gonna be fine because,
Yeah.
okay, should this continue between Grams and Mr. Brooks, and I would like that sort of thing to happen. Sure, it's not quite going to be as painful for Grams
Yeah.
when Mr. Brooks does pass away than it was her husband of how many
However many
decades?
years. Exactly. And it's like, I love the realism that they both have about the situation, that like, I'd rather have kind of these great moments of enjoyment and happiness and love than live a lifetime kind of feeling lonely. So they
Yeah,
both are kind of on the track of like, yeah, I'm dying, but I'm going to enjoy the time that I have while I have it kind of mentality. And they're very real about that. And they can be at their age. So that's kind of a little lesson that Dawson learns from both of them about that situation, because
yeah.
Dawson ultimately kind of feels like it's wrong, and his self-righteous Dawson kind of coming out a little bit. But ultimately he ends up kind of really quickly getting on board with their perspectives. And so I appreciated that. Mr. Brooks buys some earrings for Grams and he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, what do you think?" And Dawson, it feels uncomfortable giving a perspective on it, or saying what he thinks about it, because he doesn't want to endorse this kind of relationship of people who,
Mm.
of Mr. Brooks ultimately hurting Grams in his mind. But ultimately, Mr. Brooks kind of explains his perspective, and that she understands his perspective, and that they understand each other. And
And
that
that's fine.
ultimately,
That should be ended
yeah,
there. Dawson does
yes.
no
And so
longer
I
need to get
appreciate,
involved.
exactly. And so this is the quickest I've probably seen Dawson get on board with the perspective that is kind of
Yeah.
differing from what he kind of knows the world to be.
I don't
Yeah.
I don't envision him trying to meddle any further, which is
Yeah,
is a
yeah,
is a good thing, really. And I
yes.
do like how clearly immediately into it Jen is,
Yeah, she's, like,
from
excited, "Hey,
her kind of
Grams,
perspective.
yeah, Grams," and
I
that's, like, a
I
fun
I
little
really
conversation.
I
Yeah.
really do like that.
Yeah, Grams is actually
There is
getting
the
more
little
action than her. Yeah.
considerably for once, and you've got to play that card if you're Jen at this point.
Yeah.
You've got to go in, oh,
Yeah.
look at you, Grams, like
Yeah.
granddaughter, like a grandmother, and all that kind of
Oh,
situation,
yeah,
and just
exactly,
play
yeah.
that joke
But
a bit.
Grams kinda spins it on her too in a fun way, like, "Oh,"
She does, yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, I like that we're getting, like, a little bit of Graham's storyline. I like that we're seeing characters care about Grams and, like, what's going on in her life, and I love getting to see different character interactions. Kind of the last thing that's really happening in this episode is the Drew and Joey thing, and I appreciate some kinda effort to, like, give Drew something, but it still isn't, like, for me, not quite remembering what even happens with Drew.
No,
I
it feels small scale. It feels so
Yes.
small scale compared to
Yes.
everything else, simply because we
Yeah.
don't
We
care
don't
for
care.
Drew.
And they tried to do that earlier when we kind of learn, in those first couple episodes when he was tricking Joey and pretending he was like a member at the club or whatever.
Yeah.
And trying to reveal that like he's like poor little rich boy, his father's not a good guy, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, like I can appreciate, okay, some kind of effort to make us feel something about him, but I still don't feel anything about him.
No.
So yeah.
Not at all. He should have left the show after inciting Andy's
the ecstasy situation. Yeah, because they try to set up this thing. We see his mom kind of say, hey, your dad is in town. He wants to see you. Go spend the weekend with him. And so he fabricates this whole kind of scenario where he gets locked in the storage room with Joey.
Yeah.
And we're not supposed to know that like he staged this. And then ultimately we learn he staged it so he doesn't have to see his father because he hates his father and has a bad relationship with him. So it's supposed to kind of make Joey feel for him. But then we also see a scene where Joey like reaching on a shelf for something, he catches her and then kisses her and she punches him in the face. So why are we gonna care about this guy who's ultimately like sexually harassing our girl Joey? So yeah, like I don't know the point of the Drew character. I honestly don't remember where it goes with him, and I don't think it goes anywhere purposeful. So
it's unfortunately a bit of a
I'm still trying to figure out
a bit of a nothing part of
so
the episode.
Only new character that's really kind of interesting, that's bringing purpose, that's bringing some interesting scenes and dynamics is Gretchen. Like Toby, Drew.
Well, we'll get into Toby shortly now, because if there's any more obnoxious character, like Dawson isn't this obnoxious. Dawson is aggravating in a different, or has been, I should say. Dawson has been aggravating in a different way.
Yeah.
This Toby guy is just literally smack him in the face.
You have to be gay the right way kind of mentality, which is just So are we ready? For episode 12, The Day of Pacey, January 17th, 2001 is when it aired. Joey decides to help throw a surprise birthday party for Pacey with his mother, not knowing about Pacey's birthday curse. The party goes haywire as Pacey's family makes everyone feel uncomfortable and Pacey a loser. Dawson becomes upset when he feels that Gretchen doesn't want anyone to know about their relationship and postpones their first real date to go to the party.
Yes. Now, you got decent synopsis again. Well done to the synopsis person. Although the one I have here is slightly longer, but okay.
Oh, what is yours? What is yours?
No, mine's just the IMDb synopses that I always just bring up on my tablet over here. But
it has anything that wasn't mentioned in the binder?
I mean, not really. It's just more details about the
birthday party,
the Pacey's birthday party, and Jen Toby community service situation.
Oh yeah.
Which happens, and that's why he's back. But no, I always bring that up. But we always go with the binder because the fundamentals of discovering Dawson's Creek is the binder.
My obsessive love of the show since high school.
Yes. It should be in a museum. The It's a Wonderful Podcast Museum will have that.
Along with the Mustache Hall of Fame. Yes.
Along with the Mustache Hall of Fame, of course. This is a wild kind of episode, I think, because I'll come at you with a question. Like you came at me with a question at the start of the previous one. Why the hell did Joey think this was a good idea?
I mean, Pacey's mom called her, so it was very much and like, I think Pacey is probably, you kind of have to assume Pacey is not big on really advertising too much about his home life. Considering we are in season 4 and we have not gotten more of his home life than his dad and Doug. And now.
No, I was going to say Pacey's mum calls Joey, Pacey's mum, who we've never met.
Who's played by Jane Lynch, by the way.
Played by Jane Lynch. Wild. Okay.
Yeah.
But we've never met the woman before this. Out of nowhere. Hey, Joey, it's Pacey's birthday. Let's throw him a party. She doesn't say exactly that. But why would this be a good idea? Why would this be a good idea? Joey knowing everything she knows about Pacey and
family and his home life.
What the best thing to do for Pacey for his birthday is take him as far away from his family as possible.
Yeah, like she promised him
his household.
She promises him a quiet birthday, just them two. He doesn't want to do anything. But then she got roped in, I guess, to this throwing some party help helping his mom throw some party for him because she called her and it's like, hey, I want to throw this party. And the whole time, like, she cannot even get Joey's name right. So yeah, it's really heartbreaking for Pacey to see just how shitty his family treats him. Like, I'm getting so mad because I love Pacey so much, and I'm just like, I'm ready to fight these people for him because they are awful, and Pacey just putting up with it, and him having to go through this in front of the woman he loves, the embarrassment he's feeling, like, all of it is just awful. It's just heartbreaking to see. And so, yeah, I hate seeing Pacey get beat up. It sucks.
I am really so glad that the episode ends with some sort of
positivity. Because
and
I would hate
even some sort of positivity for Pacey with his wider family. It's quite unusual to see, but it's really, really quite pleasant to see, even in a temporary aspect, even in an aspect of, look, 99% of the time these people aren't good to him, but there might be a glimmer of something where something could improve, a little bit of family relationship, and okay, this can only be beneficial in the long run. Okay, that's a positive. But you are right. For the vast majority of this episode, it's, let's remember Pacey's 13th birthday party when he killed someone. Let's remember Pacey's 8th birthday party when he threw up
pissed
on
his
someone.
pants or he threw up or whatever. But
let's remember Pacey's 9th birthday party when everything fell in and the house died because Pacey went on the roof and decided to jump. Or some nonsense.
Remember a time we went to the store and we've all forgot him and we would have left him there.
Right, we just left him
until we got home. And I hate I hate that we see Doug kind of roping in on this kind of like dig on Pacey because we saw some really great developments in that relationship. So I hate when we see Doug kind of in on
peer pressure. This,
but
it's familial peer pressure.
I love though that we didn't erase the positive moments that Pacey had with his dad because they could have easily just like made us forget those moments, those good moments that he had with John Witter and those kinds of things.
Listen,
but
do we believe those positive moments with John Witter at all?
I mean, by the end of this episode, I'm still kind of on board because when he says, because like they get to a point of the party where they're all sitting around and telling stories about Pacey. And as you said, they're all kind of terrible stories like that. And John and his dad is about to say, his story. And he gave him fireworks. And Pacey's like, what am I going to do with some fucking fireworks? And Pacey, his dad is about to say my Pacey story, and Pacey's like done. He cuts him off because he's already heard like 10 stories from everyone else about how terrible he is. And
the thing is, he would have to assume that his father's is going to be the worst.
The worst, exactly. So when Pacey kind of runs away from the party, the one who comes to get him is his dad. And his dad says, you never let me tell my Pacey story. And he tells this Pacey story. I got you fireworks because I got you fireworks for one of your old birthdays. And you said it was the best gift you had ever gotten. And so I kind of wanted to replicate that for you and this whole kind of thing. Yeah. And he says like, and because the whole night, the most he's doing is, he's bitching about Pacey going to college because he feels like it's going to be a waste. And so Pacey is seeing that as like, he doesn't think I'm good enough for college. But then when John reframes it as, I don't want you to go to college, I think it's going to be a waste because I think that's not something that's for you. It's never been for you. I think you are destined for bigger and better things that aren't college. So I'm not going to spend money for you to waste your time doing something that I don't think you really even want to do. So when he reframed it like that, I'm glad it didn't erase all the kind of progress they made in those Andy episodes when when he saw somebody care for Pacey as much as he does and see Pacey be there for somebody as much as he was for Andy, and see Pacey be this good man and respect him and listen to Pacey when Pacey came to him crying and saying, look how you've made me feel, and him being receptive to that. I love that this episode could have easily erased all of that and made him kind of lump in cruelly with everyone else in the family. But the fact that like he says some cruel things, but then he reframes it and he's the one who gets him and he's the one who tells a good story about Pacey.
Yeah.
I love that we don't erase that kind of progress, because I couldn't remember and I thought, oh no, are we just gonna forget like these great moments that they kind of had in rebuilding some kind of thing?
But it's
Because
a little storyline I actually really like, and I know when it first happened and John Witter had his whole breakdown of "I've been such a terrible father," I was stood there with my arms folded,
like,
going,
no, I
"Absolute
never
no,
forgive
no,
you.
go
Yeah.
away, horrible, awful man. You can't come
Yeah.
now after all these years of being terrible."
Yeah.
But I'm sat there now going, you know what? It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
At least he's now genuinely, consistently trying to change his mentality on Pacey and change at least his, even if it's not his mentality, maybe he's always had this mentality of Pacey, he's just not expressed it in the right way, but he's changing his expression of that mentality towards Pacey into something that can actually be useful and positive for Pacey, exactly what he should be doing. So please let this continue on to get to a place where Pacey and his father can have an actual bond to any degree, and the past can be forgiven in favor of we are where we are now. Ultimately, we're both fine. Can we just go on and, nobody's died? Can we just go on from here and literally just forget any evils of before? I would like to see that happen. This is a good step. This story of I bought you fireworks because I remember on your 10th birthday you got
and
got
it was
your
the
fireworks.
best present.
You said it was the best present you ever got. I wanted to give you that again. It was clearly quite thoughtful from John Witter. Nobody else did, gave that amount of thought. It was, the other presents were just presents. They weren't
An
anything
ashtray,
overly special. I mean, that's a weird present to give him, but okay. It's not the 70s. But that's a genuinely thoughtful gift that means something. On the surface, it doesn't look thoughtful, but it's got a story behind it.
And kind of in comparison to everything else. And all the college talk is also kind of a mess for Pacey, because Joey's kind of encouraging him to his family, but he had learned that night that he didn't get into his fallback school, so he's not going to be
this
going
is the
to
thing
college
as well, though, isn't it?
So
I feel like at this time I'm just going to say I don't feel like this is necessarily the case anymore. Certainly in this country. I don't know what it's like in the US, to be honest. But university isn't everything, to 18-year-olds
I mean,
anymore.
It's not as much. It's the same. It's not as much, not a big of a deal as it was then in this kind of time
it
period.
would be like, yes, you either must go, or if you do go, it will be great. It will be everything. This will be life-changing and do all these wonderful things to you. And now it's like, well, you don't actually have to do that. You can go and do something else and be like useful in a job, get some sort of apprenticeship situation going on, and build your life up in that way, rather than this traditional academic route, which still obviously works for a lot of people going that way, and that's fine. I went to university, it's fine, but this is 2001. This is very
this
much
is like
this
go
is
to
what you're doing.
college.
You're going to college, so it feels significant. But Pacey's ahead of the curve in that sense, really. He's definitely more of the go out, get some sort of apprentice style.
Yeah, he's very like a
and
street
build a
smart
career.
kind of thing. And we will see that from Pacey going forward in the college years. While everyone else is like
Yeah.
at a college, he's doing all kinds of eclectic kind of interesting stuff. So
Well, that's good, but I would suggest he gets some sort of career on boats
yeah, well, we'll
because
see. You'll see
he's
where
a
he
great
goes.
sailor.
Yes. So you'll see where he goes kind of once we jump to the college years. But yeah, so I liked kind of where this went, ultimately ending with his family, but it was rough. It was rough to see Pacey go through
It
this.
was
And you know, Joey being so dumb for like putting him in this
like
situation.
really real idiocy from Joey. I did
Yes.
not
And
care
so
for what
she
she was
kind of
doing.
begs
I don't
everybody
even
to
care.
come to this party.
I actually didn't care for what she was doing at all in this episode, and
Yeah.
you know, for always being Team Joey, sometimes
Yeah,
recently
like
it's just
you
been
had
so
to
not
know.
that way.
You had to know this was not the move. But yeah, so she tries to kind of get everybody to come to kind of, you know, make it more of a party. And this is the night that Dawson and Gretchen are supposed to have their first date.
Yes.
And so ultimately she begs Gretchen, please come to this thing. So then Gretchen kind of postpones their first date to go to Pacey's party.
I
And
mean,
Dawson feels like it's kind of
he is her brother, so you would
yes, exactly. But Dawson feels like it's a bit of her deflecting because she's kind of like, I don't want to tell everybody just yet. I don't want to make a big thing of it. And so he's kind of reading into it like, oh, she's kind of ashamed to be dating me and all this kind of stuff, which I feel like Gretchen maybe is kind of giving that a little bit. But
a
it's a
little bit,
lot.
but like
It's a big kind of deal, like whole thing. So
it
I
is,
can understand
of course it's a big deal, and
yeah,
you
it's like
understand her, like I said
exactly.
before.
Yeah. I understand her perspective 100%. So ultimately Dawson's there, like all of I think Pacey's sister's kids are like crawling all over him, driving
Yeah.
him crazy. She finds like a fun way to kind of entertain the kids with Dawson, and then later they find themselves alone, and Pacey and Joey walk in on them full on making out. So it's like, okay, everything's going terrible for Pacey, then he has to walk in on this. So just an added kind of situation.
Again,
Happening
though,
with them.
Joshua Jackson's always really great at playing downtrodden, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
In
Yeah.
Dawson's Creek.
Yes.
He
Pacey.
looks when he's sad, he looks so sad.
Yeah. 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 He's good. He's really great at that. So that's kind of looming in the background. And then we have the Jen and Toby thing. She's doing a little bit of her community service, doing like sober driving for people, picking up kind of drunk
Yes.
people. And Toby has also
Good bit of
volunteered.
community service there. Wouldn't mind doing that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
It's not a bad you know, sentence.
Yeah, so we get kind
that.
of a fun little montage of drunk people saying stupid things in her back seat, and she's doing it with Toby, who has also volunteered, and he's making up some fake boyfriend who's like perfect James Dean guy, whatever. And it's clear he's making some guy up, and like that he doesn't care about Jack, but the whole thing is that he really does like Jack, despite Jack not being gay enough for him or stereotypically gay enough for him.
I do
And
have
so he's
another
kind
question.
of
This is purely from a logistical standpoint.
mhm.
I thought Toby was based in New York. Yeah? He's a New York person. Did they not go to New York for this? Where did they go for that meetup originally?
For that meetup, I don't know. Because I feel
I was convinced it was in New York.
I don't think it was in New York.
Maybe it was in a bigger place. It wasn't in Cape Side.
Yeah, but it's like I think one of those kind of cities nearby. So I wouldn't think it was
I don't know what the biggest was. Somewhere in Connecticut.
Yeah.
It could be anywhere.
Yeah.
What's the place in Connecticut
Cape.
called? I don't know.
So it's in Massachusetts. So
I know Cape Side's in Massachusetts, but you know, I'm thinking between Massachusetts and New York is Connecticut. So
yeah.
It'd be somewhere, won't it? Maybe Providence, Rhode Island. Maybe
Yes,
there.
maybe because I mean there were like a lot of border trips to Providence, like in other episodes. Yeah.
So maybe it was there. That it doesn't really matter. But Toby's not from Cape Side, so why is he volunteering
around
in Cape Side?
Because he likes Jack and he doesn't want to admit it. And yeah.
Why is he taking all of his time to go all the way there? Because it can't be a short trip, really.
I mean, they're trying to build up Jack's romantic life because he hasn't really had one yet.
Can have a romantic life. I want
Jack
to have a romantic life without this man.
Yes, I'm not a fan of Toby. I'm not a fan of the
It's
Toby
awful.
era. But yes, so they try to do a little bit. Yeah, so they try to do a little bit to
Jack's
develop
not
that.
stereotypically gay enough.
Not for him.
Jack's not my version of gay, but I really like him. You really like him because he's not your stereotypical version of being gay. Because you keep calling him too athletic, too.
I don't even think he really is gay. Yeah,
he looks like Captain America. So you're telling me, as a gay man, you wouldn't want someone who looks like Captain America? Really? That's not attractive. That's quite clearly attractive to you. Stop pretending. He annoys me.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Not a fan of Toby.
Why would Jack want anything to do with him as well?
And I love that Jack is really annoyed with him. So, I mean, it makes sense. So, I mean, it does ultimately, if I recall, that develop a little bit for a little bit of time. So
it shouldn't, though. The entire development of it should be Jack sat there going, "You're not a nice person.
I don't like you.
Want this.
I don't want this at all.
You can like me all you want. You can pretend
I'm not
to not
feeling
like
it.
me and actually do like me all you want. I don't like you. You're a horrible person. Sort your life out." And this is what Jack should be saying to him.
Yeah, like there are no redeeming qualities about Toby. And I think they try in this episode of him like making up this boyfriend and being mean to Jack. It's like, these are
that's what 8-year-olds do when they have crushes.
Exactly. Yeah. So Toby has not done anything to remind me of like why I should like him. So not a fan.
This is a primary school, elementary school mentality.
Exactly. Yes.
I like you over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up and poke you, or I'm going to go up and pull your hair, or do some sort of nonsense like that. Why is he behaving like that at 18 years old? The idiot.
Yeah. I don't like it. Yeah.
And he looks like that. Why does he look like that as well? I know I'm being harsh.
That's his face. You're just like taking it to the next like you just don't like him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of everything that really went on. Just getting to see Pacey, my love Pacey, just be tortured.
It's not nice.
No,
it's not nice, but ends up in a firework display. And if you like fireworks, that's a good thing. I happen to really not like fireworks, so I didn't really.
It wasn't for you.
Fireworks, they really just like don't know me. If I went to Disneyland, do you want to stay for the fireworks? Absolutely not.
Good.
Don't care for the fireworks. Take me away from them.
Okay, fair enough.
They're just loud, aren't they? Why are they so loud? I understand it's an I understand it's chemical reactions of an explosion.
Okay, watching fireworks from far enough away where they're not too loud.
I mean, yeah, but how long does it have to last?
Oh my god! As long as it goes, like, just enjoy it. What the fuck? Working.
Maybe I'm just off-put by this year's bonfire night, Guy Fawkes night.
Maybe Guy Fawkes night, yes. That's true.
The amount of fireworks that it felt just horrific. I went outside and it was
just everywhere, inundated.
Smoke.
Inundated.
It was just a haze of smoke. You couldn't see. It was the thickest zombie apocalypse-looking fog you've ever seen. It wasn't fog. It was just firework smoke.
Okay. Well,
it can't be good for the environment.
No, and I'm okay with fireworks here and there. Like if I go to Disneyland and I'm just enraptured in the whole event of it, so that's
I understand the fireworks at Disneyland and places like that, and proper.
But just random. But even 4th of July, just doing fireworks in the street, I'm just like.
Yeah, I understand they're impressive and can be very, very structured. There can be a choreography to a firework display, which I'm
like Disney makes their fireworks. They make like Mickey shapes with their fireworks and things like that.
As an art form, very, very nice. Yeah. Why does it have to be so loud? I understand why it has to be so loud because I understand.
But why? But still, why?
Why does it have to be so loud?
I get it.
Watch them with headphones on. Shut up.
Earplugs, something. But
put some earplugs in.
But it made Pacey happy once, so we're happy for Pacey.
It did.
The one good thing
I watch fireworks on
for
the
Pacey.
No.
For Pacey. But yes, yeah. So I think that's kind of where we are with these episodes and I like that we're getting like a Dawson's focused episode, a Pacey focused episode, a kind of bridging this strife and kind of getting over that with them, because that was kind of my biggest annoyance. Why was Joey given so much grace and Pacey was just the worst person ever? So I like that we're kind of getting over that. I loved seeing all the different character dynamics, Pacey with Gretchen, Dawson with Grams, and that kind of stuff. So yeah, a lot of good kind of stuff brewing in these episodes.
A lot of good stuff. So, there's been a lot of good stuff brewing, and obviously we're developing major plot lines as well now, which is exciting for the rest of the season, because we're pretty much halfway through the season, aren't we? So we should be developing major plot lines now. If we've not decided what they are yet, we've not got one. So we have got one now. We have got a couple, really, now. I suppose a few. But where it will come to a conclusion, who's to say? We'll get there when we get there. I just please, for the love of God, when you say Jack and Toby continue to be something, I really need it.
I mean, I honestly don't remember how long, what. I don't remember any.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. I'm just saying I really need it to end with Jack just putting that man in his place.
Yes, have your gay experience, Jack, for the first time, and then just move on. If that's what the show is wanting for you to just get that out of the way.
Yeah,
like,
but with that
why
guy,
with him?
That guy?
Yeah.
Not that guy. But
the guy.
Ethan guy, he was better.
Ethan was good.
Ethan was good. You didn't
Jack
want
wasn't ready. Jack was scared. Yeah. And
Ethan was all in on you. Go back to Ethan. He was nice.
He's stuck with Toby. So we're stuck with Toby. So
go back to Ethan or find the other gay man in Cape Side.
The one other man.
The one other person that doesn't exist. I mean, he's literally the token gay character as well, isn't he, Jack?
Essentially.
And it's so unfortunate that happens.
Yeah.
But it's 2001, and this was what happened on television, I suppose, at that time. But there we go, I think, Jeannine, for this episode of Discovering Dawson's Creek. It's always a fun time on Discovering Dawson's Creek. We enjoy it here in Cape Side as much as it's always a bit chaotic and nonsense things start to happen. The opinions are strong, though, aren't they? I mean, we're 3.5 seasons in now, and I've been deeply invested for some time, obviously. I always say, I don't know how often I say on the show itself, but I always say that when we do get to the end of Discovering Dawson's Creek, it will truly be the end of an era for It's a Wonderful
Topic. It will be. Well, I'll be happy that you've invested in my favorite show of all time. So
it averages out at one episode a week for for 6 seasons, and the way Discovering Dawson's Creek started was not in this alternate week pattern that we do.
No, it wasn't. We were knocking them out. Yeah. Well, it was like random sporadic, like when we would do it. Yeah.
I think there was only like 3 episodes in the span of
I think it was a few months before we kind of even delved back into it in some kind of significant way. So but I'm glad you're still on board, and I like that you're enjoying it. And because Dawson's Creek is a very specific time and a very specific style of show, and very specific era. So I'm glad that you're getting into it, despite not being of that time, of that era. So,
I mean, technically, I am of that time, of that era, really. I was.
But you weren't watching stuff like this.
I was born before Dawson's Creek aired.
fair, but you weren't watching. Were not your formative years.
Not as a 4-year-old. No, not as a 4-year-old.
Why did you have to get? Like, you didn't have to say. You didn't have to say the age, Morgan.
Do people not know how old I am?
Well, I don't need to be reminded.
You don't stop it.
You and your old man cardigan. Let me just pretend like you're 80. Okay.
Even when I was 4 years old, I was 65. So it's
you
fine.
were. So that's my solace. But you don't have to say it because it just stabs me like I want to stab Toby. You can just stop.
Oh, I mean, do I wish death on him?
No, he's just annoying. Just go away.
I just wish him to go away. I wish him to go the same way as Drew. That's what I wish.
I mean, yes, go with the two of them. Just
leave the show.
Go. You can't get with Joey. Just go and be with Toby, Drew. Just
that's fine. You know what? That's fine.
Cut your losses, Drew, and go with Toby.
Them two can get together and be awful together.
Yes, and then hang out with Will Kretzky at the
God,
wherever he went. Yes,
adopt Jonathan Licknippy.
Nicky, exactly. Yes, and then go to the college where Will Kretzky went.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, and Jen's maybe sister. Eve.
Oh yeah, Eve. She can babysit. Well, Eve can babysit for you. Yeah, she could be your nanny.
Ridiculous.
I want to see that spin-off. I want to see that spin-off show.
Like Andy doesn't even fall into this same category.
No, hell no. Oh no.
Andy might not be there anymore, but she's at least a real person.
Yeah.
But yes, there we go for Discovering Dawson's Creek. Of course, this alternates every Monday here on It's a Wonderful Podcast with diving into Doctor Who at the moment as we come to the end of the 9th Doctor era, season 1, before taking a little bit of an alternative
detour
break for a short while before returning to diving into Doctor Who.
Yes.
For season 2 going forward, the 10th Doctor era.
Yes, we'll be returning to a previous show that we did on this
we
series.
Will temporarily. Yeah. Well, I suppose it is temporarily, but it makes sense, doesn't it, to do that? Won't last too long before we're back diving into Doctor Who anyway, so there we go. Of course, Morgan hasn't seen, and the main show, It's a Wonderful Podcast, are there every Wednesday and Friday as well. John Grisham Adaptations is November's series over on Morgan Hasn't Seen, and Brit Noir for November 2025 is our main show celebration this year. Exciting times. If you are watching today's episode of Discovering Dawson's Creek, everything's been scrolling down at the bottom of the screen, all episode long as well. If you are listening today, do subscribe wherever you are listening to on all major podcast platforms. Leave your comments on Spotify, rate and review everywhere. Subscribe and ding your notification bell on the It's a Wonderful Podcast YouTube channel, of course, as well. If you would like to support us on Patreon or donate in any way, links can be found in the description of the episode to do that. And of course, find us on and across all the social medias on the app formerly known as Twitter, and on Blue Sky at It's a Wonderful One. Find me on the app formerly known as Twitter at the Purple Dawn with a 3 instead of the E in the because, Jeannine.
3 is the magic number.
On Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky at the Purple Dawn. All your Pacey loving is where.
Yes. You can find me at Jeannine Bean _ on Twitter, Jeannine Bean on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. And if you want to get any merch for any of our shows, just check the description for the link or search G9 Design on tpublic.com.
There we go. That does, of course, leave only one thing left to do. Adding your finest impression of John Witter. No, I'm not. You can do whatever you like. How dare we do an impression of John Witter, even though he's on a good
track.
He's on a good trajectory.
3, 2, 1.
Was that actually an impression of John?
That was no, that was Drew Valentine.
Okay.